This meeting is being recorded.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swanti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vishaline Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pushtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Okay, so Madhu Mangopu, you have your enthusiastic hand raised, so you can take us. We can follow you into the wisdom of Brhad Bhagavatamrta.
Without a second thought, advanced souls disregard all other benefits of trifling, even those praised in scriptures as supremely great. Commentary. The desire tree of Vedic scriptures can grant whatever benefits people aspire for. Thus, those who are less fortunate, who do not appreciate the value of Vaikuntha Loka, approach the Vedas for lesser rewards and are granted them. But because the great wise soul know how to discriminate between what is essential and what is useless, they are not anticipated by inferior achievement offered in the Vedas. Rather, those great souls are attracted to Bhakti Rasa, the transcendental state of Lord Vishnu's devotional service. Yet devotees who understand the rasas of devotional service may practice all 9 forms of bhakti to easily obtain the sweetness of its diverse tastes. Commentary. Although devotees can attain Vaikuntha by any one of the 9 practices of bhakti, they often like to engage in all 9 to enjoy the supreme, indescribable, blissful taste of those transcendental activities. Each of the practices begins with Shravana and Kirtana, given a sweet satisfaction of its own.
And just one thing, Madhu Mango, if anyone could, Mother Chandravali, if anyone else there, can just remind us of the context of what this conversation is, because normally I do this as well. I go back a few verses and I check out the context. See, it might come to light as we're reading, but good to know who's speaking and what's the context of this specific part. If it doesn't come immediately, perhaps if anyone has their hard copy, they can just look back a few verses. Mother Rajkishore, if you can just do that for us and see if we can pick up the context. As far as I remember, Gopakumar is even on his way to Vaikuntha or he's entered Vaikuntha. I'm not quite sure. He's either that I vaguely remember. Okay, you can continue in the meantime, Mother Mangopu. Normally it might come up as a reading.
When one engages.
Sorry, Chandravali, Mother, yeah?
What with Lord Shiva?
That's it. Shiva, and he's talking to Gauri as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gopakumar is speaking to Shiva and his wife Gauri.
Yeah.
His consort, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I kind of...
Okay. So they're speaking about the path, as the whole book is, but they're speaking about the specific practice of the Nava Angas, the 9 Angas of Bhakti. Yeah? We sound
yes.
confident?
Sounds like yes, because his wife Uma, right? With Gauri,
yes.
Uma.
I think Gopkumar is glorifying Shiva and them, telling that Brahmanas that Lord Shiva and Lord Gauri is proper Vaishnavas or something like that.
Okay. So he's glorifying their devotional service. He's glorifying Lord Shiva as a Vaishnava. Yeah.
Because they were praising him, and he's now saying Lord Shiva is praising Lord Shiva.
Okay, that's some indication. Great. So you can continue, Madhu Mangopu.
When one engages in faith in even one of this form of bhakti, pure love for the lotus feet of Shri Krishna automatically arises. Commentary. As explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sri Sanatana Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 2262, Shraddha or faith is properly understood in terms of trust, Vishvasa, in the efficacy of the devotional process. Shraddha Sabde, Vishvasa Chake Shudrana Nishchaya. Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Haya. By rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith favorable to the discharge of devotional service is called Shraddha.
Yeah, just a quick point. This is a nice definition of Shraddha. Yeah. So in other words, it means just by rendering devotional service to Krishna, we do not have to worry about anything else. Yeah. Everything's going to be taken care of in that sense. That's Shraddha. It means by serving Krishna, you have faith that all other subsidiary activities in a Vedic setting, it means there's no need to worship different devas, even if there's some overstepping in strict principles of Varna and Ashram and the duties that you have. By serving Krishna, everything is automatically performed. So from our perspective, from a secular perspective, by taking up Krishna consciousness, everything will become balanced in our lives, you know. Okay, just for mention that.
Even
Okay.
so, the disease of offspring for other goals may hinder devotees from attaining Vaikuntha. To keep their hearts free of this, devotees should, with pure love, continue practicing devotional service. Commentary. Prema, pure love of God, is never tainted by desires for selfish benefits. Such ambitions cause all sorts of anxieties, which burn the diseased heart. A devotee who wants to experience the higher reality of prema must cure himself of this heart disease. Otherwise, entanglements will hamper his progress towards Vaikuntha, as he fulfills his utterly desires.
Okay. Any
Selfish desires cause
anyone? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Selfish desires cause misfortune in this world and obstructs one endeavor to attain the spiritual world beyond. But when one's prema is finally awakened, these harmful desires vanish, and the sanctified devotee knows only perfect happiness in this life and the next.
Okay. Any comments
Wow.
and questions here? So it's basically as speaking about the underlying principle of bhakti, to go back to the spiritual world. So to go to the spiritual world, you have to have prema. Obviously, that's your ticket, one-way ticket. And to have prema, you must be free of selfish, your bhakti should not be tainted. It should be pure. The desires for selfish benefits. So that's what we have to work on. And as we engage in bhakti, then we get the strength and we will get the faith in order to let our material attachments go, or by the grace of Krishna, they may dissolve. We have to just mumbling on it here. Any specific questions?
But can you be selfish for service? Then it's not considered selfishness, because still we live in the material world.
I don't know if you would use the word selfish for service. You should use the word being enthusiastic for service. Yeah,
Enthusiastic.
you should want to do devotion. You should want to serve Krishna. So perhaps leave out the adjective selfish. It has like negative connotations, but because it's for the self, but it's for the supreme benefit of the self. So that doesn't contradict pure devotion. The fact that you're serving Krishna, that you're hoping to be reinstated in your original position, Okay, so you're thinking of yourself, but that's the only thing that you can be thinking of in relationship to the self. So that's not selfish as generally understood on the material platform. Selfish on the material platform is like, I think I've said before, my mother used to always chastise me for being selfish and not sharing things with my sister. Yeah, so stop being selfish. But we should be eager for service to Krishna, and that's not the same context of a material selfish. You're being benevolent to the self. Yeah. You're being kind to the self. So, okay, Mother Mongol, any? Frozen in time.
Mhm.
Frozen for 10,000 years. Hare Krishna. Perhaps he's just gone into shock.
It's really like frozen, yes.
All right. I can read a little bit until he comes back. Okay, text 130 to
Yeah.
1. Oh, he's back. You got
I
frozen
always
time.
been here. It's only the page didn't change, so I can't read.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead. It's changed now.
Oh, okay. Although wherever there is a such devotional service, the Supreme Lord surely appears, and indeed that place is Vaikuntha. Devotee must still have special regards for the Vaikuntha world, because nowhere else in the personality of Godhead always directly to be seen. Commentary. A question may arise, since Prema Bhakti ridiculous the happiness of Brahman
Ridicules.
ridicules the
Yes.
happiness of Brahman realization, includes all sweet varieties of supreme ecstasy, and is available here in this world. What need is there to go elsewhere? In the Padma Purana, Kartika Mahatmya, the Lord himself say that he can be found wherever his devotees remember him. Naham vasami vaikuntehe yoginam hridaye nacha mat bhakto yatra gayanti tatra tishhami narada. I do not live in Vaikuntha, nor in the heart of the yogis. I stay instead, O Narada, in the place where my devotee sings my glories.
Just
The
remember
Vaikuntha
that,
Dutta.
excuse me, keep jumping in, but this verse was quoted by Dina Bandhu in class when he was here recently. And because we asked the question, it said we should only stay in Vrindavan for 3 days. Prabhupada said that in one place in a specific context. So then he was speaking about, the Krishna. So he was speaking about London being Vaikuntha, and all the different temples throughout the world. And then he went on further to explain that actually Krishna is present where the devotees are glorifying him. So that becomes Vrindavan. I just remember. Then he quoted this verse, Naham Vashami Vaikunte. Yeah. So just for your interest, anyone else remember that?
I remember you asked the question
Yeah.
about 3 days.
Yeah, and then Dina Bandhu
He was explaining,
replied.
and he says,
Yeah.
I live in Vrindavan.
Yeah. And he's definitely lived
He
there
also
for 3
said
days.
that you being in Vrindavan, at least you remember Krishna all the time, because every
Yeah,
single
he said.
mind of Vrindavan.
Then he imitated the sound of cuckoos and different
Birds.
birds. Yeah. All right, Hare Krishna. I just remembered that. I was just quoting that verse. Can you continue?
The Vaikuntha Duttas point out that there is no reason why Vaikuntha Loka is a more desirable
there
place.
is one reason. You said no reason. There is one
The
reason.
Vaikuntha Duttas point out that there is one reason why Vaikuntha Loka is more desirable place for devotees than the material universe. Only in the transcendental world, Vaikuntha is the Supreme Lord, always visible with all his variegated charm, beauty, pastimes, and personal qualities.
So from this, we can realize that Kumar is talking to the Vaikuntha Dutas.
Yeah, it seems that.
Yeah, in like
Yeah,
earlier.
it says, yeah, the Vaikuntha Dutas point. Is that okay? Let's take it from that perspective then. So it's the Vaikuntha Dutas who are speaking presently. Yeah. Okay, you can read another verse, and if anyone else would like to read, please, you can raise your hands.
Nowhere else can such bhakti to him. Nowhere else can such bhakti to him in all its form be realized forever without disturbance and in the company of so many surrendered devotees. Commentary. The devotional service in Vaikuntha is unmixed without material tendencies. It is motivated solely by pure prema. Because in Vaikuntha there are none of the frustrations imposed by the time and physical limitation. The Vaishnava who lives there in the spiritual body can enjoy the rasas of Prema Bhakti with full freedom available nowhere else. All Vaishnavas there should give Shiva Ikuntaloka the honor it deserves. Nice.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
place.
it's nice,
Wow.
but don't get too attached to it. That's not our goal.
Well, yeah, eventually that is going to be brought to light, but at least let's appreciate Vaikuntha as in compared to the material world. It's full of very exalted devotees. There's no impediment to serving the Lord, neither from time, neither from the modes of material nature, neither from non-devotees. It's definitely a place to
Especially
glorify. Yeah.
But then you get bored because it's all in reverence, not like personally serving like Goloka Vrindavan, being friends and being all
Well,
different.
we shall see, because Gopakumar, he
Mm.
goes to Vaikuntha, as we know, but he still feels that there's something missing. But I don't think we can bring in the word boredom.
No, I
It
didn't.
doesn't exist in this. That word doesn't exist in Vaikuntha. I mean, because those in Vaikuntha, they're completely invigorated and enamored and lost in an ocean of glorification of Vishnu that gives them unending joy, unended, unparalleled bliss that cannot be imagined. So they're completely satisfied in glorifying Vishnu and in serving Vishnu, yeah, and in seeing Vishnu and in hearing Vishnu. Yeah, there's no conclusion. Oh, this is boring, man. It
No, like
doesn't exist.
but then there is no chance of going to Goloka from Vaikuntha then?
Generally not, but it seems in the case of Gopakumar, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, in the case of Gopakumar, that's the whole story of Gopakumar.
I think I vaguely remember, I could be wrong, but I think I remember that Srila Prabhupada was saying that some devotees who haven't 100% purified, but they are purified enough to go to Vaikuntha Lok, they will be able to move on to Golok when they have sorted themselves out.
Okay.
I'm
You've
not
heard that.
sure, but I think I read it somewhere.
I think that's Brahmaloka.
They go there and they have a training there, and after they finish the training from there, they move them to
No.
Goloka.
That's another context, Mother
That's
Mother.
another, yeah.
I think what Mother Rajkishore, I think you're speaking of Brahmaloka. I think, I mean, I might be mistaken.
Quite possible, yes.
Yeah, they
quite
go to
possible.
Brahmaloka, and then when Brahmaloka, as it does, Lord Brahma's life comes to an end, then they move on up into the Vaikunthas. Madhu Mango is speaking about when a devotee takes birth in Boma Vrindavan, where Krishna is enacting his pastimes to get the association of the Nityasiddha. And then after that, they take birth once more, or then they appear in the spiritual world. Yeah. So it's two different. Is that okay, Mother Mongol? So
Yeah,
in that
thank you. Thank you.
But I might be mistaken. I mean, if you remember where that quote is, Mother Rajkishore, that would be interesting. But as far as I have understood, that's referring to Brahmaloka.
It's quite possible what you are saying is right, because I can't remember I can't get a reference.
Yeah, because even it's described that even if there's some material, even if there's some scent of some material aspiration, then it gets fulfilled in Brahmaloka. And once they're exhausted of that, and Brahmaloka becomes withdrawn at the end of Brahma's life, then they move on up to the Vaikunthas.
Okay. Okay, it's quite possible, yes. Thanks.
Okay, let's okay, if anyone else like to read, you have to make yourselves known, otherwise Mother Mongol can carry on reading.
I can read if you want,
Go ahead.
if you want.
143.
Okay, so which text are we on?
33.
133.
133. It's on the screen.
I got my book.
Okay.
You should not consider devotional service merely an activity of body, senses, and mind. It is in fact the eternal absolute reality, manifesting itself as the most intense ecstasy beyond the material modes. Commentary. In text 123, where the Vaikuntha messengers advise Gopkumar to practice devotional service, Bhaktim Anustita, that might be mistaken to mean that bhakti is a ritualistic practice, something to be accomplished by human endeavor. To correct this potential misunderstanding, they here explain that pure bhakti is never approached by material senses. Even though hearing is done with the ears, chanting with the tongue, remembering with the mind, and praying and other activities with the limbs of the body, these activities are not material. They are spiritual activities that can be performed only by a devotee's awakened spiritual senses.
Okay.
Text 134. By Lord Krishna's mercy, the devotees happily realize this devotional service in many varieties. It reveals itself to them in their hearts, which are free from the material modes and immersed in eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Commentary. If devotional service can be performed only with spiritual senses, how can conditioned souls even qualify to engage in it? They can be purified sufficiently to begin transcendental hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord only by Krishna's causeless mercy. As devotees mature in their practice, their individual tastes gradually appear, and on the higher level of the advancement, their reciprocation with Krishna becomes increasingly precise, diverse, and ecstatic. Text 135. When by spiritual discrimination a devotee becomes completely pure in heart and attains the transcendental abode of the Lord, he realizes the wonderful varieties of devotional service. Commentary. The argument of how an aspiring Vaishnava becomes spiritualized is presented positively in this verse and negatively in the next. By learning to discern spirit from matter, a devotee gradually frees his consciousness from entanglement with the material body, its senses, and the things of this world. In Bhagavad Gita 5.9, Shri Krishna describes this kind of discrimination to Arjuna. Indriyana indriyarthesu vartanta iti dharanaya. One becomes aware that the senses are simply interacting with their object. When one is finally free from all material context, one can enter Vaikuntha, the realm of Lord Hari, where there is also no connection with matter. There one can enjoy the real varieties of life. Text 136.
If there's any comments or questions, I'm a little bit tired today, just been in a meeting. So if there's any specific questions or comments, I think this is quite significant. Spiritual discrimination. We're speaking about discrimination yesterday in our Bhagavad Gita reading, wasn't it? It seems like there's some type of spiritual discrimination. So devotees learn to become like Paramahamsas, like swans, you know, accept the essence, to accept the spiritual aspect, and to learn to be enlivened by that. So it becomes from gross to subtle. So first of all, we're like a swan regards to following deregulative principles. So you could say that's external, and we follow a certain way of life, and we associate with, as much as we can, with the devotees. But then this spiritual discrimination should also be there internally. With what are we doing with our mind? What are we meditating upon? Are we within our mind maintaining material desires? Yeah, you understand? So that becomes more refined, the spiritual discrimination. Yeah. And then the last verse it mentioned nicely, was it? Oh, yeah. One becomes, then the reciprocations with Krishna become increasingly precise, diverse, and ecstatic. Yeah. So first of all, we get the externals together. You know, we put tilak on when we're doing worship. We go to the temple. But then there's the internals as well. So we learn to choose, or we learn to discriminate between matter and spirit. That's going on within our mind.
Can I ask something?
Please, yeah.
Is that mean that we need in the beginning to learn to see through the eyes of Shastra, and then after we purify and our eyes purify, we will be able to perceive more with the heart or with the eyes, let's say, than with what we got trained?
Yes, thank you, Madhu Mangal Prabhu. That's more of a, thank you for bringing it out. And we do that, as you're saying, quite correctly, by reading. Yeah. Because Prabhupada's purports, in Prabhupada's books, for example, he is divulging how a pure devotee thinks in great detail. Yeah, Prabhupada is laying out the fine tuning of a pure devotee, how he thinks, how how the cogs in his mind moves, how he comes to certain, how he thinks things through. That's all described in Prabhupada's purports. So the more we expose ourselves to Prabhupada and his purports, and our acharyas as well, then the more we can refine our thinking, and we can develop, we have to develop the mindset of a pure devotee by hearing about pure devotees and how they think. So that's a very good point that Madhuman was making. So we get that from reading like we're doing now. Yeah, reading Bhagavatamrta. Yeah, thank you, Madhu Mangal Prabhu. Did that anything else on that?
I think it's we also have to read in a group. If just one person reads on his own, sitting in one place and spend the whole night reading the whole book, not much will be perceived. But if we read in a group like this at regular intervals for a specific time, then it's much more absorbed by us.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there are some, there may be, it's not absolute. There may be some devotees that they can sit down and read, and they're really connecting with Prabhupada. They're really connecting with Srimad Bhagavatam. But generally, we do experience that Like, for example, like I do my reading and I do my own study, but I remember more in reading together like this, you know, and I recall things more from these group readings than I often do from my own personal reading. You know, yeah, thank you, Mother Rajkishore. Very, very important point. Anybody else like to add to that?
If I read by myself, and let's say in the temple someone reads one verse, and I go home and I try to read the same verse, it will not be the same. It's like it's from a different world. Even if I try, it's like more explained in the temple than
Yeah,
even the words from a same verse. It's like they have a different meaning.
and one of the reasons for that is because on our own, we're not necessarily doing Sankirtan, because it's just us. Because Sankirtan means in association of devotees. So Krishna is more pleased with that. If you're glorifying him, if we're glorifying him in a Sangha, that's Sankirtan. So because it's more pleasing to Krishna, more goes in, you know, it's more relishable, it may be. But having said that, I've had some nice experiences. Obviously, I'm sure we all have, also in reading Prabhupada's books on one's own. And there might be some devotees who might not have that opportunity to always read in Sangha. So then Krishna will not leave Krishna will also give that devotee great inspiration. But anyway, that's, but just agreeing with your point, yeah. Because it's Sankirtan, because we're getting together and we're glorifying Krishna. And in this age, that's the Dharma. Yeah, that's what's being prescribed. Congregational chanting of the holy name, congregational glorification. You know?
Is that because in this age, the society, it's like everyone try to be by themselves and they try to make you individuals, like only selfishly, only for our, and then Krishna tries to bring us together and remind us that we are not to be ourselves only by ourselves.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the unfortunate consequences of living in a very materialistic society, is that community values have been eroded. Family values have been eroded, at least definitely in the West. So therefore, a lot of people are lonely people and they live on their own, you know? So that's definitely there. So when but also, yeah, so when devotees get together to glorify Krishna, again, he's very, so I'm saying that it's not specifically, that's just a symptom of this age of Kali, you know? It's just a consequence of this materialistic eroding of community, of spiritual community-based values. So people are more, to survive, they end up being on their own. You know, it may be. But yeah, I don't know if that answers, but kind of some reply to that.
For compensating my missing words, because it's not easy to put in a phrase sometimes in English.
So yeah, that's why the temple is important. You know, the community of Vaishnavas that surround the temple is very important, that we get together and we engage in hearing and chanting. So this platform has made that more accessible than was in the past. Anybody else? Any comments on this?
I kind of remember, when Krishna comes in that arena to fight, and everybody differently sees him in a different form.
Yeah.
So I always think of things like that in paragraphs, that everybody brings, when we're discussing together, everybody brings different ideas to the table in a way, in front. So it makes us see things in a different light and broader.
Yeah. And that's pleasing to Krishna.
Yeah.
Prabhupada said the devotees should be like scientists in discussing Krishna consciousness, analyzing, as much as we can. Yeah.
Because Krishna consciousness is a scientific movement.
Yes.
Comes with a little bit what they learn about Krishna, so everyone comes with a little piece, and when we are all together, then all the pieces come together, and we can give the whole Krishna consciousness more than when we are ourselves.
Yeah, very good. Like I like that example, like pieces of a jigsaw. Then we piece it all together. Yes. Thank you. Very nice example. All right, shall we read? Shall we do some more Sankirtan? Okay, carry on, Mother Chandravali. 136.
136. Otherwise, for one whose heart has, by transcendental knowledge, been freed from the material endeavors of the body, senses, and mind, the activities of devotional service would be no more suitable than ordinary affairs. Commentary. If devotional service consisted of actions of the material senses upon material object, it would be no more spiritual than any other activities. No purified person who has given up material activities would want to engage in it. After having struggled to put aside the obligations of Vedic duties, nitya and naimetika, regular and occasional, why would one accept new karmic entanglement? The advanced soul would judge the activities of Vaishnavas unfavorably, applying to them in principle that only the senses are involved with their objects. Text 137. Why should one who renounces the acts of devotion to the Supreme Lord as if they were like other activities go to Vaikuntha? He should obtain only liberation. Commentary. Impersonalists who consider devotional activities to be material have failed to receive even a touch of mercy from devotional service. If they have actually attained Naiskarmya, relief from the attachment to the results of material work, they can have liberation. But without bhakti, they can never enter Vaikuntha. To attain Vaikuntha, one must be favored with the blessing of bhakti. Thus, the spiritual nature of devotional service is proven by both positive and negative logics.
I think I missed that. Can anyone tell me what the negative logic is? Let's go back. You just discussed it. I was a bit distracted. Yeah. One who has heart, one whose heart has by transcendental knowledge been freed from material endeavors, okay, of the body, senses, and mind, the activities of devotional service will be no more suitable than ordinary affairs. Anyone could explain that, what's being said here? Sorry if I read the purple again. If devotional service consisted of actions of the material senses, so if it did, which it doesn't, but some people may think it does, but if it did, it was just the same as the material activities going on in the material world. So it wouldn't be spiritual. It wouldn't be no different than any other activity. So no purified person who has given up material activities would want to engage in devotion. Okay. So anyone who's engaged in some type of tapasya, some type of austerity, if the activities of a devotee were non-different from material activities, why would anyone want to do it? Yeah. After having struggled to put aside all obligations of Vedic duties, why would one accept karmic entanglement? Because that's what they think it is. The advanced soul would judge the activities of Vaishnavas unfavorably, and thinking that only the senses are involved with their objects. That's what the Mayavadis think of devotional life. They think it's no more than a material activity. So that's the negative. Okay, excuse me, I just had to go back on that.
But then it's mean when you serve, it's all transcendental. It's not any bounding of anything when you serve.
Well, yeah, it very much depends on your why you're serving and what you might hope to get from it. So it might be mixed. So like generally it is, but generally if we keep on practicing devotional service, then it becomes more pure, more pure, more pure. So it very much depends. Like there's someone's cleaning the temple room floor. There may be 3 devotees cleaning the temple room floor, and one devotee may be doing it because he doesn't really want to do it, but he got asked to do it, and he's feeling begrudgingly he doesn't want to really do it. He'd rather do something else, but he's been told to, so he's cleaning the temple room floor. He's in a bad mood because he's been told to do something he doesn't really want to do. The second person is doing it, and he wants to everyone know that he's so humble that he's cleaning the temple room floor, and he really hopes that devotees will notice that he's cleaning the temple room floor. So he or she's going to get a certain degree of benefit, not much. Then the third person, let's say 4 persons. The third person is doing it, is cleaning the temple room floor because that's what the guru has told him to do. The guru's instructions has come down through the temple commander, and now he's cleaning the floor out of duty, spiritual duty. So mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. Then there's a 4th person who's completely ecstatic that they've got an opportunity to clean Krishna's floor. And they're so happy to have that opportunity. They're actually praying to Krishna, oh my Lord, you're so kind. For millions of lifetimes, I've been engaged in nonsense activities, and finally I get to clean your floor, my Lord. Thank you so much. Then that person gets the most benefit. Okay?
But then that person, the last one, is not going to help all of them, because all of them, they're in his proximity.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he experience.
No doubt. Yeah.
Experience.
Yes, we could say that. If someone's in such ecstatic consciousness, then the rays of their devotion will splash out and touch those who are in close proximity, and they will get benefit. Yeah, we can say that. But the person in mode of ignorance might be completely unaware of the ecstasy of the devotee who's serving in great love. They're just completely unaware of it.
He might not know what's happening.
Yeah.
But then he comes back because when he goes out, he will experience something happening there.
Well, he may
and he feels different.
But he may do. But again, to say the person is in a mode of ignorance, they may look at a person who's ecstatic and think, why doesn't he just concentrate on cleaning? Why does he keep bowing down? Why does he keep, he's just distracted. He should just concentrate. Why is he singing? They might be critical. They might be envious, There's a lot could be going on. But what you're saying is, yeah. And ultimately, they all get some benefit because they're cleaning Krishna's floor. But some of them may be doing it devotionally, pure. Some of them may be doing it mixed for mixed motives and mixed reasons. Yeah. Everyone can make garlands. Everyone can clean the floor. Not everyone can cook, and not everyone can make garlands. But generally, But generally, you can learn to do these activities. You can learn to make a garland. You can learn to cook an offering. You can learn to offer an arti. But can you learn to do it purely? That's the thing we have to learn. Do it purely.
But that comes to realization, because if you don't follow your guru or devotees who are self-realized, then you're not going to receive that consciousness which they are in.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's and that's our process. We have to follow. Yeah, we have to follow the guru. Yeah, and then these things we have to hear from guru. We have to follow him. Yes. Anybody else on this?
I'm just thinking whether, say, cooking or something, you don't kind of think, oh, look, I'm cooking this or I'm doing this, that. It's kind of, okay, what should we do for Krishna? Or put some nutty thing in there so he can chew. You know, like that kind of thing, thoughts come in.
Yeah, that's all part of, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
only natural thoughts that are going to be there, like someone making a garland. Okay, let me make the garlands. Let me turn the flowers that they look like
yes.
the flowers look like a funnel. Let me put it. You know, there's so many things you can do. The way you fold the flowers, and that's all spiritual intelligence and spiritual inspiration. Yeah, but it's for Krishna. It's not like I'm going to make this garland. You wait. I'm going to make this garland, and you wait. Everyone's going to know I made this garland. You know, then it's then your bhakti is mixed. It's mixed and it's not pure. You know, and it's generally a test. Is like when someone, you know, if you make the garland and someone criticize, oh, what type of garland's that? You know. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So yeah, what's our, you know, why are we doing our devotional activities?
For Krishna.
Yeah, this
You
what
should be so thankful that he's somehow picked you up from so many souls to come to do this service for you. It's like it's just amazing mercy of his. So
yeah.
You don't think anything, you know, like I'm doing, or it doesn't, things like that don't come in your head. You just be so overwhelmed, like, you know, watch, I'm here, you know,
But
make most what I've got.
But that may not be there in the beginning, and this is what it means by, remember we mentioned earlier about spiritual discrimination.
Well, yeah.
We should search within the mind for a pure motive for doing our service. And as Madhu Mangal brought out very nicely, that will come from reading and study, from reading of those who do have, from those who are pure. So we can take that on, and even if we are contaminated, which we are, we can be inspired by other person's purity, and we can want to serve for the same reason that they do, just to please Krishna.
Because in the services you're doing, like anybody, in whatever services they're doing, they'll also come across devotees who are so enthusiastic, so willing, so positive. And you kind of look and you think, I wish I could be like that. And, you know, desire things to want to do for Krishna better and better.
Yeah, that's it.
So being in that service, you will then get these desires, and you know, eventually Krishna will fulfill your desires.
Yeah, that's why it's important to us to serve in the association of devotees, because you know there may be some days that we're not feeling, you know, we're not quite feeling with it, and there may be various reasons, maybe various things going on in our life, various stresses, various strains, various distractions. So then when you're serving with a devotee who happens to be on that day a bit more enlivened than you, then you kind of, oh, great, this is what I need. Thank you so much for your association, Guru. You know? Yeah. Any other comments or questions on this? Otherwise, I think perhaps we might pause there for today. It was only 2 minutes to 7, so not a great loss.
That's that word that comes in, discrimination. So you
Yeah,
have to
discrimination.
be
It's someone that keeps coming up lately.
positive, right?
Yes.
Positive acknowledgement, positive feeling. We
Yeah.
look up for positive, not like, oh, right, yeah, I did, but it's not so good. Yeah, I know, we get days like that. Yeah, I don't feel like doing. But if you have somebody there who's positively, yeah, look, this is what I did, and
Yeah.
look, yeah, right. Can I learn as well? And you know,
Yeah.
you get
And that will come in association of devotees. That's why practicing devotional service, not in association of devotees, is very, very difficult. To actually find your inspiration can be, actually your inspiration may get smothered. So that's why we're always encouraged to associate with devotees. All right, so some food for thought there from our Thursday reading. Hare Krishna. So I wish everyone well for the weekend.
I need to say something. Did
Sorry?
everybody know? I needed to say something.
Please go ahead.
Does everybody know it's someone's birthday today?
Oh, Hare Krishna. It's not mine.
It's Murli Manohar Prabhu's birthday today. It's only
21 today.
no, 21 today.
21
So,
today.
Happy Parents Day, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Toyo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
drop
Krishna.
them with you.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna to you.
Thank you, everyone. Hare
Mother, you should
Krishna.
have got somebody to give him that thing, but what's it called?
Huh? The
You
bumps.
have to bump. That's the word. If
May
let's have
Krishna
that-
always bless you. May
There's
Krishna
too many
always
bumps.
bless you and dress you and fill up your heart with love
Hare Krishna. I'm
so
gonna.
you can inspire so many souls.
I'm trying to find where to stop the recording, but I can't find it. Oh my God.
But
Pause
also,
recording.